Hey, everybody. Bandana looks good? It looks good. Today I wake up having a good day. Turns out that the EU decided to pass 2 pieces of legislation, although now they have to talk to member states. I think there's 28 of them, about enacting 2 pieces of legislation, Article 11 and Article 13. Which is which, I forget exactly, but essentially one makes it a requirement in order to provide a hyperlink on anything, on social media or any publishing platform, which a lot of the wording inside of the document itself is, let's just put it this way, it's pretty broad. The way EU politics work is they pass a central resolution in the EU Parliament, and then the member states work with their own laws to enact whatever legislation has been passed at the EU level. Now, by requiring people to pay a tax on links such as more than 2, currently the legislation says more than 2 pieces of a headline on a news article would require any person posting on any publishing platform to pay a tax on that. Now, in the UK, in order to watch TV, there's a licensing fee that you have to pay. This is essentially licensing the ability to post links, and this would apply to individuals on things such as Facebook, Twitter, other platforms. Now, as you'll notice, every single day people are posting links to news articles. That's how most news sites want to be known, by having people virally spread different articles and headlines. The other piece of legislation would effectively cripple copyright. It doesn't take into account fair use. Things like memes, transformative works, would need to be filtered through an algorithm that would then flag whatever it was that you posted, such as pictures. Pictures could be memes. Pictures could be have things inside of them such as buildings, people in the background, works of art. And if any of that stuff existed in your photos, in your music too, it applies to code as well, and it matched up with a content that was inside of this algorithm, it would have to be taken down. They clapped and celebrated as they passed this legislation. Now, why does it matter if you're in the United States? Well, there was another piece of legislation passed. I can't remember the exact name, but all companies worldwide essentially had to comply. It had to do with privacy laws, and it was hell for a lot of tech and businesses to enact that piece of legislation inside of many of their software that a lot of these businesses produced. It's essentially an attack on the internet as we know it, the way it functions, the way it's used. Now, this isn't written into law yet. However, someone at the piracy party inside of Sweden was very upset about this. I believe Facebook and YouTube both made comments about how they do not want this stuff. Now, I'm not a big fan of social platforms that have grown so large and become this corporate kind of elitist culture. I mean, we live out here close by to them, but these pieces of legislation are terrible. I personally called up Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein when they co-authored the CISPA bill, which was similar. I don't understand how a party inside of the EU, inside of Europe, decided that the stuff that China and North Korea do with censoring the free and open internet, they took a look at that and said, hey, let's try it over here. Now, it was heavily supported by various copyrights holders Copyright is messed up. It originally was supposed to only last 4 years. So things such as Mickey Mouse and various other works would essentially be in the free domain, such as Sherlock Holmes, for instance. How many versions do you see that? You have the Robert Downey version, you have various comic books and works that, look at Sherlock Gnome, for instance. Things like that would not exist if we didn't have things fall into the public domain. Now, companies have extended things so far beyond the life of the original creator to protect intellectual property. I get it from a business perspective, but from a social perspective, it's terrible. And this piece of legislation, no matter what side of the aisle you are on politically, is pretty reprehensible. I don't really know what more to say, except that things are pretty screwed up across the pond. And you Brits, well, I think the Brits are actually exiting the EU, so that's good. But my God, it's like V for Vendetta, except for real. And I, God, don't know what the hell they're thinking. But it's a terrible, terrible idea. We already have problems with larger companies preventing people such as auto mechanics and independent shops from being able to repair their own vehicles. John Deere is a great example. That company does not want people working on their own tractors. They use things such as the DMCA to say that their software is proprietary, when software and computers, BCUs and ECUs, pretty much make sure cars and vehicles and large diesel equipment function properly. You can't get away from it anymore. Apple, Samsung, a lot of these companies really want to prevent you from being able to work on items that you have. And if you believe that you can just go to an Apple certified store, a Samsung store, or go through the warranty department, just take a look at iFixit. Trying to get a screen for my Samsung Galaxy S8 is impossible and costs as nearly as much as the phone itself. Plus, it's not designed to be repaired or taken apart easily. It's just, we're going into a state where larger companies are having control over the products that you purchase from them. And I'm a free market guy. I believe you should have the right to do whatever you want with something that you paid money for. You're not licensed, you're not leasing these items. You're parting with your hard-earned cash in order to be able to have the enjoyment of your own products. And now, intellectual property, transformative works, things that fall under fair use, which fair use, by the way, is defense. It is not something that is automatically granted. It's when you're sued for copyright, you can use fair use as defense. It's gone if they move the legislation through in its current form. Now, yes, they still have a lot more work to do with making sure that Article 13 and Article 11 work with local laws inside of the UK. But I foresee large companies pulling out. Facebook, Twitter, they're probably going to pull out of the UK if they keep this up. And think about how large of a company you have to be able to afford the tax license, essentially, for linking. Small startups, they're not going to be able to compete. They're not going to be able to do this. The worst part about all this is, if you really, really think about it, if you're a new site, say Minds.com, which is a great social media site. I've been on there. I've been enjoying it. It's very small user base, but it's growing, and it has VC-backed funding. Ooh, we all love that term out here. They're not going to be able to compete on a one-on-one basis with these larger companies. Really what it's about is protecting legacy institutions, media empires. They do that a hell of a lot in the EU. But remember what happened when Spain passed legislation similar to this. News companies were in revolt, even Spanish-based companies. They could not get a presence out on social media, which, you know, it's the new advertising form. A lot of people don't realize that Google makes most of their money through advertising. They are the largest advertising company in the world. They've cornered the market in search engine marketing. Their AdWords platform allows ads to be spread all over the internet. And it is really effective. I mean, there's people who make tons and tons of money just being able to write 5-line articles, A/B split testing, all this wonderful stuff. But if Article 13, Article 11 pass, and people want, these companies need to comply with it, man, it's going to affect the world. Now, there's legislation going on all over the place in other countries which essentially give backdoors into a lot of our privacy. I don't need to get into that too much, but I think this is pretty reprehensible, this legislation. And damn, it's like the old guard really wants to protect their buggy whips, you know? When Ford came out with his Model T, there were a lot of complaints and a lot of people pushing back against, well, a progressive company that was introducing a new product. I mean, hell, even cities like San Francisco, I think New York too, were getting on their high horse about these scooters and these bikes, which you can essentially leave anywhere. I don't see them in Alameda anymore, barely see them in Oakland. What's going on? I mean, we're supposed to be in a time period where new and revolutionary stuff is the norm, where we're supposed to accept this stuff. But I am kind of aghast. Internet culture, I'd say, could be killed pretty bad by this legislation. But, you know, that's just my opinion. I'm just a dude on the internet trying to get out of the white collar world into the blue collar. What do I know? Other than, well, these companies that are supposed to be protecting us from legacy institutions are now, well, facing the wrath of government institutions that just don't understand them. I mean, man, it's bad. Anyway, that's all for now. This is just a quick video of getting out there. 12 minutes, 13. Yeah, it's somewhat quick. Anyway, let me know what's your takeaway from all this. How do you feel about Article 11, Article 13? If you're not sure about it or you think this is overblown, well, you're wrong. Whatever. It's not my real big problem to argue with you on that. I'm just letting you know this is what's happening. If you're in the UK, contact your MEP. Good luck on that. I doubt that's going to do anything because it was an overwhelming vote. I think somewhere over 300 to 280 in favor of this. And you had a lot of people cheering and celebrating that the internet is now under the thumb of a lot of people who just don't care about your ability to express yourself online. And they really don't want any competition, especially the old media companies. That's all for now. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and share. I am also on BitChute. I may upload this video there. I have one video up there as well. That's going to be my backup in case, I don't know what happens with this platform. Follow me on Minds, Twitter, Gab, Adeptus Azul. Signing off.